Hello guys, so welcome to this brand new video. Today we are going to learn how to make this YouTube thumbnail in Photoshop. So if you are new here, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also share and comment so that we learn together. So first of all, we have to choose our dimensions. So go to file and then select new, right? And then the dimensions for YouTube thumbnail is 1280 for the width in pixels, right? And then 720 for the height. So make sure that you select pixel and then you copy this dimensions, and also the resolution should be 300, and then the color mode should be RGB color. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so what we are going to do is go to the adjustments layer and then select solid color, right? We are using a dark color for now. Then you go to the source files. I've not opened it. All right, so when you go to the source files, bring in this haunted house, right? All right, so what you have to do is that you have to increase the size. So I normally like using this side to increase my sizes. So I make it 8.5 for the width, and then 8.5 for the height. All right, pull it down a bit and then make sure that where the light is coming. All right, so the next thing is that select this color, right? And then make sure that the color selected here is red. So I'll put the color codes in the description of the video so you can copy and then paste it. All right, so after doing this, we have to do some touches to the background, but then before that I want us to bring in the picture and then work on that. Then when we are done with the picture, then we will work on the background once again. So the next thing here is that go to the source files and then bring in the picture. All right, and then as usual increase the size to about 20. Okay, so increase the size like this. You can just do it manually, right? Okay, so after bringing in the picture, press Ctrl Shift A. Okay, so Ctrl Shift A, or you can go to filter and then select camera raw filter. So let's do some touches to it. First of all, let's increase the highlight to about 100, and then the texture should also be increased. Clarity should also be bumped up. Okay, and then go to detail, increase the noise reduction to about 26, and then the sharpening should also be increased to about 15 or 22. So just do it the way it will look nicer to you, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so after doing this, if you look at the if you look at this, right, the template thumbnail, you can see that there are some rim lights here, right? That makes it look nice. So what we have to do is we have to do that. So go to the adjustments layer and then select hue and saturation, and then for after selecting the hue and saturation, make sure that you create a clipping mask for it, right, and clip it to the picture, and then click colorize, right, and choose your preferred color. So I'm choosing red, but then the saturation I'll increase it to make it look more red. All right, so I think this is okay. Then after that, I will invert it. So make sure that you selected the layer mask on it, right, and then press Ctrl I. right? So after pressing Ctrl I, you've inverted it. So now what we are going to do is that we will select our brush tool, and then after selecting your brush tool, make sure that these two colors, the black and white here, right, are flipped. So you can click on the arrow near to it and then it will flip it to white. Then let's add the light effect to it. Make sure that your flow also is decreased to about 26, right? And then just brush over it. Just brush over it to add some light effect. So I'll speed that part up a bit. All right, so I've done that. And then what we have to do is that we have to go to the adjustment layer and then choose hue and saturation again, right? But then before that, let's select the haunted house, the layer for the haunted house, and then create a new layer for it, right? And then let's, after selecting the brush tool, increase the size of the brush, and then also the flow should be increased to 100, right? And then the color, change the color to yellow, right? And then click here, right? So that the yellow color in this place will come, right? Okay, so after that, you go back to the hue and adjustment, and then just as we did for the first one, you create a clipping mask for it, and then you choose colorize here, and then you choose your color, but it has to be of the same color as the yellow. So I think this place okay. Increase your saturation. Okay, so this is okay. So after doing that, make sure that you invert it by pressing Ctrl I, right? Now after inverting it, decrease the size of your brush, right? And then just add the light effect to it, just as we did for the first one. So I'll speed it up. Okay, so one thing I did was that after doing the brushing, I realized that I've brushed over the ears too. I don't want it to look that way. So I'll just flip these black and white colors here, and then I'll brush over the ear, right? So I'll clean the color from it. Then I'll continue and then add up to the hair. Just add some yellow colors to it. Okay. Okay. So the red too, I think we should add some red colors to the hair like this. Okay, to make it look more realistic. All right. So after doing this, right, we've added our light effects to it. Then the next thing we will do is that we'll go back to our background, right? And then with the background, we will go to filter and then blur, and then choose motion blur. Make sure that the layer for the haunted house is selected, and then the distance should be decreased to about 8, right? Okay, then after decreasing the distance to 8, make sure that the opacity is reduced to about 50, and then the fill also is reduced to about 80, right? Okay, so I think we are good to go. The next thing here is that we will bring in this chat right behind him. So you go to the source files and then bring in the chat. make sure that the layer for the chat is right above the layer for the haunted house. Then you increase the size. You increase the size, right? Increase it a bit. Okay, so something like this is fine. All right, so after doing that, you reduce the opacity to 66, and then the fill should also be reduced to about 60, right? All right, so I think we are done with the background for this. Then straight up select the topmost layer and then create a new layer for it. And then the next thing that we are going to do is that we have to bring in, or probably we have to draw these rectangles where the total sales are. So the next thing is that let's once again bring in the chart again, right? And then after bringing in the chart, you reduce the size. Just reduce the size to be like that of the phone, right? And bring it inside the phone. Then after doing that, you tilt it a bit so that the angle will be the same as that of the phone. So after doing this, let's bring it down a bit. Control T, use the arrow keys and bring it down a bit. Okay, so after doing this, you create a layer mask for it, and then you use the brush tool and then brush over it, increase the flow a bit, and then flip these colors so that when here is white, here should be black, so that it'll work out. All right, and then just do something like this. Okay, so I think this is fine. So after that, you create a new layer. I don't actually like grouping the layers, right? But if you want to group the layers, I've already talked about it in my previous video, so you can watch the video and see how you group your layers so that it will look nicer here. All right, so after doing that, select your rectangle tool and then draw, right click, select your rectangle tool and then draw your rectangle, right? So something like this is fine. Okay, the fill should be of the same color as this. So one way of doing that is that you can double click on the layer, right? And then the color panel will appear. Okay, then you use the eyedrop tool and then pick the color of the phone screen so that the rectangle's color will match that of the phone screen. So after doing that, you press Ctrl T and then you flip it a bit so that it will be of the same angle as that of the phone. And then when you are done flipping it, make sure that you click the layer for the rectangle and then you come to the edges, right? Make sure that your link is on and then you press or you choose 20 for the edges. You press Control, so we are good to go. So I think yes, that's that. So when you are done, make sure that the layer of the rectangle is selected. This is a very detailed video, so make sure that you pay close attention to it so that you don't lose track. So select the layer for the rectangle and then go to where they've written FX or the layer style and then choose drop shadow, right? After choosing your drop shadow, my opacity here is 44, so I will increase it a bit to about to about 70, right? Or probably 68 is okay. But then it looks like my chat is so beneath the rectangle, right? It is covered by the rectangle, so you are not seeing it properly. All right, so just press Ctrl T for the rectangle and then push the rectangle upwards like this. All right, so at least you will see the chart. Okay, so after doing that, Then let's look at the template. So let's just bring in the Shopify logo before we even do the text, right? So after doing that, then you select the layer for the chart, right? The layer for the chart, that is the first chart. The layer for the first chart, not the one that we created a layer mask for. No, the layer for the first chart, the chart above, right above the haunted house layer. Okay, so then you create a new layer and then you go to the source files, bring in the Shopify logo like this. Okay, so just bring it here, then reduce the size a bit. After reducing the size, flip it, yes, probably something like that, and then bring it here. So I think this is okay. So after doing that, you make a copy of it by pressing Ctrl J, right? So after pressing Ctrl J, you press Ctrl T to select it, reduce the size like this, and then bring it here behind the guy. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is that looks like the size for the first Shopify is big, so press Ctrl T and then let's reduce that one a bit. Okay, so something like this is fine. So after doing that, select the layer for the Shopify copy, right? And then go to filter, select blur and motion blur, right? So you increase the distance to about 12. So I think this is okay. Then you select the topmost layer, that is the first layer. So what is left right now is the text, right? So first of all, let's write this, right? This test: total sales 16,392.41. So the font I used is called Unisons, right? Unisons. So you just select, the color should be white, and then the letter spacing should be -60. Select Unisons. If you don't have it, you can download it and then install, right? Okay, then the size, the font size should be reduced to about 15. So you write your amount, so the $sign 16,392.41. Okay, so the size is still bigger than, so let's reduce the size to about 11, right? And then pull it here, so this is okay. Then you press Ctrl T, then you rotate it a bit. Press Ctrl T, then rotate it a bit to be more like, the angle should be more like that of the rectangle, but looks like it's big, so there is no space. So reduce the, yes, reduce the font size. I should have drawn it bigger, right? I mean the rectangle, so that I'll have more space for the other text. Okay, so after doing this, you create a new layer and you write total sales, right? Total sales. Okay, so after writing the total sales, the color should be green like this. Okay, so I'll put the color codes in the description or the source file, so you can just copy and paste them, right? I think this is okay, or probably this. Then reduce the size to about 3. and bring it here. Just as I said, this is a very detailed thumbnail or a video, so you have to pay close attention to it. So after writing your total sales, you press Ctrl T, then you flip it a bit to be, press Ctrl T, flip it a bit, yes, so that it will match the angle of the amount. It's like it's still not matching, so flip it a bit. Okay, so that it will match the angle of the amount. So after that, then we go to the main text, right? It's insane. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is that create a new layer, and then you write your text, but then the color should be yellow, right? It should be this yellow. So just increase your font size to about 36. Okay, so write it's okay. So after doing that, bring it here, and then you go to your character panel. If you don't have it, just go to Windows and select character. It will just appear here like some A, right? So you click on that A, and then you choose italicized, or you can press Ctrl Shift I, then it will do that for you. All right, so after writing that, we are almost done. But if you look at the text, there is some kind of glassy look around it, right? So what we have to do is that select the layer for that text, which is it's insane, and then go to where they've written FX, that is the layer style, and then choose bevel and emboss. So after choosing that, you can copy my settings here. All right, just copy my settings here, and then you have it. Okay, and you press OK. So we are done. But the next thing is, if you look at the template, it is nicer than this one, right? So what we have to do is that just press Ctrl Shift Alt and then E, right? Ctrl Shift Alt E. So after pressing that, you go to the adjustment layer and then choose color balance, right? Then after choosing color balance, you create a clipping mask. Okay, so after doing that, you just add some adjustment to it. You can increase the blues and then add for the mid tones, right? And then the highlights, you can also add up something. All right, so we are done. So if you look at it, it is having more glow, right? And it is looking nice. So congratulations for making it this far. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and then you share so that we learn together. Stay tuned.